Hey, this is Mark Goldberg from Mark Vlogs Watches. And today we're going to talk briefly about a brand that is a concept. The concept is, let's look as much like a Rolex as we possibly can without actually being a Rolex. The brand is Steinhart, and we're going to sort of initiate a discussion, and I'm going to really depend upon you to give me your thoughts in the comments, because I think that my point of view is the typical of some, but definitely not of everybody. But before we proceed with that, let's have a quick wristwatch check. Right now I am wearing the Tudor Pelagos blue. All right, let's get into the meat and potatoes of what I think about Steinhart. Let's have a look at some of these watches and a chit chat. But again, I'd like you to talk to me in the comments about what you think, and do all that YouTube-y stuff, subscribe and all that nonsense, like, squish, do all that stuff. Okay, let's look at Steinhart. What do you think? Well, whether you like Steinhart or whether you don't, you have to admit that they have managed to make them look good, and of course they did that by just ripping off Rolex iconic designs, right? So here you're looking at a pre-ceramic Rolex Submariner design. Do they change anything? Yeah, they change the dimension just the littlest bit. But basically what you're looking at is a sub lookalike. And here you're looking at another view of the Submariner lookalike. This, Steinhart does these in a lot of iterations. They even have the vintage ones, which I will show a little bit later with fake patina. Here's the thing about these watches. I think what really annoys me about them is they have very little in the way of originality. The only thing that stands between these guys and being a fake, in my opinion, is the name. But they have really ripped off all the design cues. I'm going to give them a little smidgen of credit for having actually bothered to go ahead and change the dimension a millimeter or two in any given direction, which is not typical of fake watches. So I don't want to accuse Steinhart of faking. They're not. This is what is called in the industry an homage. But there's just an homage, in my opinion, should take design cues from the object of its honor, but it should add some design cues of their own. And these guys just fail to do that on any level whatsoever. And here you're looking at the, basically a fake, in my opinion, looking GMT. And now we're having another look at a Submariner looking watch. Now, here's the thing about these watches. They are of decent quality. I'm going to confess that right now. This is not like some crappy Chinese-made junk. This is German-made. And, of course, I'm sure there's Chinese parts in there, but I think a lot of these guys have Swiss ETA movements in them. A buddy of mine has one. I have tried it on. I have touched it. I did not get cancer from touching it and looking at it. And it was much higher quality and had a good feel to it. It's just the fact that these designs are just, in my opinion, just straight up design ripoffs. Here you're looking at what is essentially the design of a very early Rolex Explorer. Now, it's kind of cool that you can buy a watch that looks like something that you would never be able to afford or that you really would covet due to its look. But really, who are you trying to fool? These guys just, they're not the real thing. They're copies, and here we have a copy of the design of IWC just to mix it up, because they've copied more than just the Rolex brand, although most of their watches to me seem to be Rolex inspired. Anyway, what I want to know in the comments is, what do you guys think, right? Like, those of you who have these watches, tell me what's good about them. Do you really feel good about wearing a design that somebody else kind of ripped off, or what? And if you hate them, why? I confess again, the one or two of these guys that I've held in my hands felt good. It wasn't a rattly piece of junk. It felt good, and that just disturbed me even more, because I think to myself, Mr. Steinhart, if you really devoted yourself to originating some designs, couldn't you really break away from all this homage and just make a good Steinhart watch all on its own?